Why movies just don't feel real anymore. Was the title of a video that the algorithm recently sent my way. And I've actually seen this video several times on YouTube as kind of a photo film interested person. The first time I watched a version of this video was from Patrick Tommaso. I don't know if he was like the first guy to ever make most of these arguments, but he was certainly the first one I ever watched. One of the main points from these videos that they make is that old movies feel so much more real than what we get nowadays. And both videos go into lots of different reasons on why that is, but one of the biggest reasons that they talk about is that movies don't shoot with a very shallow depth of field most of the time. Now, for some reason, if you're here and you're not a huge camera nerd, or maybe you're just getting into being a camera nerd, welcome. Shallow depth of field of view is a concept in photography and videography and cinematography in which a big sensor and big lens and small aperture numbers, or wide apertures, which is just how much light is getting let into the lens, allows you to have a very narrow focus on an object. If I grab one of my big full-frame mirrorless cameras with a nice big lens that has a really small aperture number, which means it can open up really wide, lets in lots of light, let's compare how this looks and, to the iPhone or whatever. Okay, let's see if I can hold this and do this. So if you notice here, I'm filming at f1.8, which is a very wide aperture. If you look, that orange light in the background behind me, very blurry. And in fact, if I point my camera at it, it comes in focus and you can kind of see me, I become blurry. And this is just that concept I'm talking about. Even with a relatively wide lens, if you have a wide aperture, you can blur the background. And again, the closer you get to my face, the blurrier the background gets. Now, in these videos, the point that they're making is that a lot of movies, again, don't do this. They don't shoot with these blurry backgrounds. They shoot with more closed down apertures to have more in focus and bring more of the environment into the viewing experience and making your eyes feel those elements more instead of obscuring them in blur. And I was just traveling in Japan, and in fact, I wanted to test this theory. I had my Panasonic G7, which is my favorite little camera right now. It's a micro four thirds camera, so again, a much smaller sensor, and I forgot an ND filter, so I couldn't let in or control how much light was hitting the sensor, and so I was just using iris settings on the lens. I was shooting at like f16 in most of these shots, and I have to say, for a lot of the stuff I was playing around with, I do feel like it looks more cinematic to have more of that environment in focus.